Thanks for joining us. This is I-24 News. I'm Kalev Ben-David, and these are the top stories we're following from around the world this hour. 2016 has been a brutal year as regards the passing of pop music icons. And now, right at its end, the British pop music star George Michael has passed away in his home overnight at the untimely age of 53, joining the likes of Prince, David Bowie, and Leonard Cohen. His manager says that Michael died of suspected heart failure. Authorities in the UK say they're investigating, but they haven't found anything suspicious. Michael rose to fame in the 80s with the pop duo Wham, and then had a massive solo career, selling more than 100 million albums. ABC News has more.
1, 2, 3, go!
The stunning death of George Michael brings a sudden end to one of pop music's most brilliant careers. The superstar was just 53. His publicist said he died peacefully at home, but offered no further information. In the 1980s, George Michael was one half of Wham with Andrew Ridgeley. Michael rose to greater fame as a solo artist, selling more than 100 million albums in a career that lasted almost 40 years. His first solo album, 1987's Faith, sold more than 20 million copies, and he enjoyed several hit singles, including the raunchy I Want Your Sex.
My music has only ever reflected part of the music that I listen to, and some of my favorite albums would not be things that anyone expected. And even though they influenced me, I still know who I am and what I'm capable of, what my limitations are.
His career included brushes with the law over dangerous driving, drug use, and public sexual behavior. Police said his death was unexplained but not suspicious.
Joining me now in the studio is our cultural reporter, Maya Margit. Maya, George Michael, he started out as one half of this pop duo Wham. That surprised a lot of people with how durable his solo career was. What is his legacy going to be, his musical legacy?
Well, as you mentioned, he sold over 100 million albums, and he was a major cultural icon, a pop icon, a music icon. Another icon, unfortunately, that we've lost to this year in 2016. He became famous in the 1980s with this band, but actually when he really became famous was after he started his solo career, after he split from Andrew Ridgeley. And then people have been bringing candles and flowers outside his home in London. So let's listen actually to what people in London in the streets have to say about him.
Absolutely shocked because, as I say, that so many famous people have died this year, and to lose George Michael is a tragedy, really sad, really sad. Such a big name in pop, isn't he? He's just
another young life, really.
Yeah, too young, too famous, too soon.
Yeah.
This morning when I heard it, I was pretty shocked to hear that he died at such a young age.
Very sad news. It's capped off a bad year for music with Prince dying, David Bowie earlier in the year. I remember the days of Wham, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, and things like that. And then George Michael as a solo singer.
And of course, also celebrities have been really reacting strongly to his death. The reactions are pouring in. We have people reacting on Instagram and Twitter. So for instance, Elton John on Instagram sent out a picture of himself with George Michael's and wrote, "I am in deep shock. I've lost a beloved friend, the kindest, most generous soul, and a brilliant artist." Elton John, of course, worked with George Michael. They did a version of the song "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
Great song.
Great song, amazing song. So Elton John showing his support, sharing his condolences. Then you have also Andrew Ridgeley, who was the partner of George Michael in Wham. He tweeted out, "Heartbroken at the loss of my beloved friend, me, his loved ones, his friend, the world of music, the world at large, forever loved." And also you have Ellen DeGeneres, who came out in support of George Michael's. She tweeted, "I just heard about my friend George Michael's death. He was such a brilliant talent. I'm so sad." And of course, Ellen DeGeneres, just a year before George Michael came out of the closet as well, and came out as a homosexual as well.
Well, you mentioned that, Maya, and in fact, of course, a year before, he had this notorious incident where he was arrested in a Los Angeles public bathroom for a lewd act, and that kind of publicity could have really hurt his career, but instead he ended up becoming almost a gay icon out of it.
He definitely became a gay icon. It was in 1998. He was arrested for engaging in a lewd sexual act in a public bathroom in Beverly Hills, California. And coming out in the 1990s, I think, was very significant. For now, right now, I think people are just used to celebrities being very open with their sexuality. But back in the 1990s, this wasn't a given. So for someone to come out like that, it was a really big deal. He came out, of course, a year after Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres, when she came out, was also a really big deal in the 1990s. And people really remember him for being this gay icon and for being open with his homosexuality. And after that act in the bathroom, actually, he made a song about it called Outside, where he showed policemen kissing in a bathroom. So he was kind of mocking the whole thing, and he turned it into something positive, I would say. So that's how he moved forward with that.
Now, that was not the only scandal in his career. There was some arrests involving substance abuse. We have to wonder now maybe if that contributed to his untimely passing. So he did struggle, had health issues and struggled with substance abuse, did he not?
He did struggle with a lot of health issues and substance abuse. His manager, of course, Michael Lippman, has said that he died of heart failure. We're going to have to wait to see what comes out in the coming days about his health and maybe if that was a factor or not. But he was arrested several times in the past decade for substance abuse, for marijuana, for smoking many marijuana joints a day. He had to go into rehab actually for his marijuana addiction. He said that he was smoking 25 joints a day before he went into rehab, which is quite a large amount. But he was also arrested for smoking crack cocaine and for other heavier substances, such as prescription drugs. He had DUIs for driving under the influence. So we're going to have to see what happens. In the past few years, he was more of a recluse, so we don't really know that much about his health. But there were rumors that he was still smoking crack cocaine towards the end of his life.
Maya, what a terrible year this has been for the pop world. I mentioned it early in the report. Prince, Leonard Cohen, George Michael, 53. He might have had plenty of music still left in him. Is there no end to this year?
It's hard to know. We have to hope that 2017 will be a more positive year and we won't have as many big deaths of major musical icons. He was also working on an album, apparently, and a documentary film. The documentary film on his life, on how he became famous, how he rose to fame, is going to come out in March. So at least we'll have some kind of tribute, maybe a more official tribute, a film that we can watch about his life.
We'll look forward to that. Maya Marghi, thanks for joining us.
Sure.